Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with Digital REM. In this video, we're going to show you how to take your credit card utilization from 50% to under 5%. Pretty much it's a simple process, and we're going to show you how to do it right now. So let's just get started. So essentially, we're just going to break down how the process of getting your credit card utilization from 50% to 5%. It's pretty simple actually. So let's say you have I'm gonna have the wrong tool. Let's put the brush tool. Let's say you have a credit card, right? This is your credit card with your information, right? That's your credit card, and you have that credit card has a $10,000, what we call a credit limit for that card, right? And you have $5,000 owed on that card. So this is owed for that card. You have $5,000 that you owe on that card, right? Now, let me write up here in the corner. The ideal utilization per credit card is you want it at 25% per card. 25% per card, because if you're at below 25% per card, your credit score is going to continue to increase. So you want to keep your credit score increasing, and you want to stay in that position where your credit score is increasing. So if you recognize, we have one credit card, a 10K credit card, but we're using 5,000 of that 10,000 card. So you can simply do the math and see that this is 50% utilization for this one card. 50% utilization for that one card. So you have 50% utilization on the one card. Well, Chris, how do you get from 50% down to below 5% on the one card? I know this might sound counterintuitive or counterproductive, but this is how you do that, right? You apply for more cards. How does that work? Okay, let's say you apply for one more card. Let's do two cards. Let's say you apply for two more cards, because again, you want your credit utilization under 25%. So you apply for two more cards, right? These are cards, and these cards have 10K limits as well. Now you divide this 5K between these two cards. So you owe this will be 2.5K, this will be 2.5K, this will turn to 0 because you won't owe anything on that card anymore, but you'll still have it open. Make sure you keep your cards open. But now you have 2.5K on $10,000 cards. Now both of these cards at 25% utilization. So 25% utilization for both of these cards, right? So you were able to get your cards down to 25% utilization, which in essence would increase your credit score. Because now you're at the point where it's gonna stay good. But if you go over this point, it's gonna start to veer towards going to the negative side. That's why you probably heard like 30% is where you want to be. That's true and not true at the same time. 30% is where you don't want to be over. 30% doesn't help or hurt your credit. It doesn't help or hurt. If you're at 25%, it's going to continue to help your credit. The lower it is, the better it's going to help your credit. But 25% is like that almost at the break-even point where like it's still helping, but it's not helping as much as if it was lower. So the ultimate goal is to get your overall utilization way below, your overall utilization between 2 and 10%. That's where you ideally want to be. Well, Chris, you just said 25%. Again, it's 25% per card. So you don't want to be over 25% utilization per card. But with that being said, what is overall? If that's the case, what's overall utilization, right? We're gonna write that up here. Overall utilization, right? And I wrote it up here for a reason. Overall utilization essentially adds all of the values of all of the cards that you have. So we have 10K, 10K, 10K. It adds those values, so we'll put that down here. Make sure it's still on the screen when I write it. So this adding of, we'll put a line right here. So this adding of the 10 cards is 30K. And we only owe 2.5 and 2.5, which is 5K, right? We're gonna have to do some quick math real quick. Let me pull out the calculator. We're gonna have to do some real quick math. So usually how I find out the percentage is I will do 5 divided by 30 equals, and it comes out to 0.166, up to whatever. We're gonna round it to 1.7 0.17. Move the decimal point over 2 places and you get your percentage. So we're gonna say 17%. So that's 17%. So now your overall credit utilization is 17%, but you owe 25% on each of these cards. Well, Chris, how do you get it to between 2 and 10%? Yeah, I think you're starting to see the trend here. You apply for more cards. So we're gonna apply for 3. We're gonna apply for, let's say 5. We're gonna apply for 3 more cards. Boom, boom, boom. These are cards. 10K each. I'm using 10K to simplify it. 10K each. So now, and these cards won't hold a balance. So, or you can spread them out however you want to do it, because it'll lower the utilization per card. You can spread it out if you want to, but we'll just keep the balance at 0 for these cards. We'll keep the balance at 0. We just apply. That's all we did was apply and let them sit. So we applied, let them sit. So now, plus, plus, plus. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now we have 60K, and we still only owe 5K. So we'll do the math on that. I wish you wouldn't lock me out of the screen so quick. So 5 divided by 60 equals 0.083. So move the decimal point over 2 points. That's 8%. So now you're at 8%. You're below the 10% utilization. Again, continue to do this method. I tell all of my mentees, I tell all the people who are part of the Digital REM Consulting that you want to, when you apply for these credit cards, they're going to do what is called an inquiry. They're going to do an inquiry on your credit report. So you want a method that gets you the least amount of inquiries at one time. So you'll be able to get 5 cards with only 2 inquiries. But with that being said, the inquiries fall off within 2 years. So it takes about 2 years for an inquiry to fall off. Well, what do you do when the inquiry falls off? Essentially, you just do this process all over again, right? So let's say you apply for 5 more, right? We add 5 more cards. 2 years later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 2 years later at 10K each. 10K, 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 10K. Now we just add all these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 cards, that's 110K. You still only owe 5K. Boom. What are we at now? Clear. 5 divided by 110. 5 clear. 5 divided by 110 equals 0.045. So essentially 4%. You're at 4%. 4.5%. So again, you just keep doing this over and over again. Again, I said wait 2 years. 2 years later. So this is 2 years later. 2 years later to do this again, because the inquiries usually take 2 years to fall off. But there are methods out there that we also offer as well. There are methods out there where you can get multiple credit cards, multiple credit cards with the least amount of inquiries. Let's just put it like that, with the least amount of inquiries. So again, you can get up to a few credit cards with the least amount of inquiries. Why is this beneficial? So let's say you are looking to buy a house or buy something. You're looking to finance them. You're looking to buy a car, a house, whatever. What they end up doing is looking at your overall utilization here. They're looking at your overall utilization. So when they're looking at your overall utilization, what you want to do is take it from 50 where you were at this 50% utilization on one card, because you were still within the limit of the card, but you were at 50% utilization. That doesn't look good. For one, it's not between 2 and 10% of your overall utilization, because when you have one card, this is your overall utilization. It's not 2 to 10%, nor is it 25% of that particular card. So it's not helping your credit, it's hurting your credit. So you want to pretty much, if you want to call it it's not liquidate, but if you want to water down, let's say water down this debt, just like if you were drinking tea or something. If you want to water it down where it's not as sweet, you don't owe as much, put more water in, get more cash flow, get more, if you just call liquidity, get more liquidity, get more in there. So now it doesn't seem as much. 5,000 doesn't seem as much when you have 110 available. 5,000 is a lot when you only have 10 available, right? So that's where you want to be. Why that's important when you're applying for house loans or looking to get a car. They're looking at your overall utilization. So if your overall utilization is here, you're very, very ideal to get whatever you're trying to get. If your credit card utilization is here, and don't even mention if you have your credit limit is this high, that to a bank shows, okay, they know how to work with a large amount of money and not overspend or get out of control. So I'm willing to give them even more money, right? So you want to be in this area. You still only owe the 5,000 that you've always owed, but you want to be in this area where your overall utilization is low. At the 25% per card, that's what you want to stay on a micro level. So per card, you just don't want to go over 25% per that card. So if you had this 10K card, you just don't want to go over the 2.5%. I mean, $2,500. You don't want to go over that on a 10K card. And again, you can do the math on different cards because the different credit limits are different. But at the end of the day, the banks are looking at the overall utilization. They're looking at the overall utilization. They're factoring that in. That's one of the data points they hit when they calculate what your credit score is. One of the data points is your overall utilization. So you want to make sure that's low. Boom. They're looking at that, and then they're looking at your debt to income ratio, which is dependent on your job and your expenses, like your mortgage, rent, whatever, stuff like that. But as long as your utilization is low, that's a big factor in getting you a great credit score. So that's how you get your credit score that's how you get your credit utilization from this 50% down to below 5%, right? You just apply for more cards. I know it sounds counterproductive, but it works. It works, and it boosts your credit score so much. Now, what you can't do, this is a rule of thumb, what you cannot do is obtain these credit cards and then just spend them up as well. Because again, the more you spend, the higher your utilization goes. So if you go and spend, you go and continue to, when you get a card, put some more money on these cards, then you're essentially staying in the same place you're in. You want to calculate this constantly, what your utilization overall is and your utilization per card is, right? So with that being said, let me just hop out of the screen. So I hope this video was valuable to you, for you, and to move to the next level with Digital REM Consulting. But with that being said, it's very important that when you are doing this process, to have a vision. You don't want to do this process if you're in need of money. You don't want to do this process as a way to get quick cash. You don't want to do this process because you're going to end up hurting yourself more than helping yourself. You want to do this process of, if you have $5,000, to again water that debt down to be as minimal as possible until you're able to pay that off. So basically buying yourself more time to pay that off, buying yourself more time to where it doesn't negatively impact your credit, but giving yourself more time to pay that $5,000 off by just applying for more credit and lowering your utilization. But again, you don't want to get You want to get these 10 cards and rack them up, because you're gonna hurt yourself way more than you definitely can help yourself, and dig yourself in a deeper hole than you possibly can probably get out of. So with that being said, I highly urge everybody who's implementing this process with a heed of caution. Check your own financial understanding. Check yourself as far as if this is beneficial to you. If you have a long-term vision of how you can implement this, then you're on the way to becoming financially free. Because with that being said, right, let's say, how many cards do we take out? We have 11 cards that we accumulated over 2 years. We have 11 cards. Now you have access to $110,000 with 11 cards. At any time, you can use part of that $110,000 as an investment. So you can invest in something. As long as you keep your utilization per card under 25%, you can use that money to invest in things that can bring you more money back. So you're able to leverage the money from your credit cards to potentially bring you money back through investments. So, and I use the word potentially because, again, people invest differently. Let's say if you invest in something that's hot right now and you're like, it's going to be hot, but then it drops, then again, that's where the caution comes in. Like, but again, if you invest in, like, let's say something that's a little more safe, like a rental property or something like that, well, if the down payment is $20,000, that's a good example. If the down payment is $20,000 and you take $20,000 from your $110,000, I'm trying to do the math real quick. I know it's under 20%. So you're under 20%. You're over 10%, but you're like 20% overall utilization. Well, now you have access to that $20,000 that you didn't have access to before, and you didn't have to pull out your bank account, but now you have access to that, and you can use that to buy a property, rent that property out, then the rental pays for the credit card, pays that credit card down. But after the credit card is paid down, that's all residual income every month, as long as you can rent that apartment out and pay the mortgage, of course. So as long as you can cover the mortgage payments and pay the credit card off in the beginning phases, once the credit card is paid off, then anything, the difference between the mortgage payment and your rental is going to be all profit. So you're basically created a stream of income without even going into your own bank account from, leveraging your credit. So that's at the end of the day what the goal is, and what I definitely the direction I push my mentees towards. And even if it's not real estate, let's say if you do fulfillment by Amazon and you find a product on Amazon that you're wanting to push, leveraging your credit, however much in credit, $10,000 in credit, and you have $110,000 available. Now you've only taken out less than 10%, so your credit is still good, but now you have access to $10,000. Well, now you can buy these products, get them shipped to the Amazon factory, and get the ball rolling with that. And then you'll have your own store. You'll have your own e-commerce store going, and then you can generate ad spends and things like that. But we won't go into that in this lesson. But with that being said, I hope this was valuable to you. I hope this was something that you could work with, something that you can envision yourself being part of. And the first step to even getting started with this is make sure all the negative items are removed from your credit score. Definitely building your credit score up. And this is a tactic definitely to help you build your credit score up for sure, by just reducing the amount of utilization per credit card. So getting that utilization per credit card down to under 25%. If it's under 25%, you can let it sit there for the time being. So, but again, get it under 25%, so that in essence will keep your credit score building. It will keep it being positive. And then of course you open up other accounts and things like that, where now your credit score looks more versatile and you're able to build better, stronger credit profile over multiple data points. So, that being said, hope this video was valuable to you. Once again, do that one thing that takes you closer to your goals. Visit DigitalREMconsulting.com at DigitalREM.com, and pretty much get started today. We have the credit management ebook that shows you processes just like this. We have the funding ebook that shows you the process of how to get multiple credit cards at one time with minimal amount of inquiries. So just reach out to DigitalREM.com. They're available in our shop. And I hope you enjoyed this video again. So take care. See you on the next one. Peace.